split-second decision that does not appear to be criminal. That's what the chief is saying about this week's deadly police shooting of a man in South Omaha. Team coverage tonight. Reporter Kelly Bartnick has response from suspect Danny Elrod's wife and her lawyer. Emily Zink has more from Elrod's family on his state of mind. And senior reporter Jake Wazakowski was at a news conference this morning.
Police Chief Todd Schmaderer gave his assessment of the deadly cop shooting of a robbery suspect in South Omaha on Monday. Still, Douglas County Attorney Don Klein will present the case to a grand jury in March. Senior reporter Jake Wazakowski begins our team coverage live from the Douglas County Courthouse. Jake?
Jen and Craig, again, Police Chief Todd Schmaderer told us here at the Douglas County Courthouse that he does not believe the actions were criminal, but still it's up in the air as to whether they were justified. Well, dash cam videos from two cruisers will help determine that.
Thanks, Don. Good morning, everyone.
Police Chief Todd Schmaderer and County Attorney Don Klein detail the actions that led to Officer Alvin Lugod shooting Danny Elrod Monday night. Schmaderer says it starts with Elrod, who was unarmed, robbing the Family Dollar on 13th and Hickory.
Elrod reached across the counter and began taking money out of the register while the cashier began to struggle with Elrod.
After getting away with the cash, officers, including Lugod, make contact with Elrod minutes later near a garage. Dashcam video catches the entire scene, which lasts less than 2 minutes. 2 photos were released. Guns drawn, Elrod didn't listen to commands. Then Lugod said he'd shoot him. Elrod then jumps on top of a vehicle.
The officers all said in their interviews that Elrod shouted to the officers that he had a gun as he held one hand at his waistband and reached into his waistband with the other hand at least 3 times.
With 4 officers on scene, a taser is deployed without success. In this photo, you see Elrod on the vehicle facing 2 officers. Lugod isn't pictured. Elrod reaches up to jump over the fence and is shot in the back twice by Lugod and once in the shoulder.
Officer Lugod feared that Elrod was going to jump to the ground, pull a gun, and shoot Officer Bornhoff. It's very possible that Mr. Elrod was attempting to jump over the fence.
Officer Lugod also shot and killed a man in 2012. He was cleared of wrongdoing. Klein says it's now up to a grand jury to decide if he was justified in shooting Elrod.
That the law states that the fact that a person may have been wrong in estimating the danger does not matter as long as there was a reasonable belief or basis for what he believed and he acted reasonably in response to that belief.
Now, the chief said because of Elrod's actions, it could be similar to a suicide by cop situation. Klein says that if they expedite this investigation, they could have it in front of the grand jury, which convenes on March 9th. Reporting live outside the Douglas County Courthouse in downtown Omaha, Jake Wazakowski, KMTV Action 3 News.
The suspect's wife has hired a lawyer, and today that attorney questioned why a police officer shot an unarmed man in the back. Reporter Kelly Bartnick has that reaction. He's live at 13th and Center. Kelly.
Craig, Amanda Elrod was going to meet her husband when he left here, this Family Dollar, that night. She said the two planned to have coffee and that she saw what happened. She didn't know at first that it was her husband, she said. She tearfully sat down next to her attorney this afternoon. Elrod says she spoke to Danny Elrod just minutes before the incident. She was a block away when shooting started. Amanda Elrod remembers her husband as a hard worker and a good provider. Her attorney, James Martin Davis, is asking to see cruiser cam video of that shooting. Amanda Elrod heard her husband's voice that night. She says she had some strong words for police today.
Detail for detail, all I can tell you really is that I miss him and I love him, and they took my whole world from me.
That happens every single day. And so there was nothing unusual about this situation that different than any other situation that warranted the use of deadly force.
Amanda Elrod also addressed her husband's mental health, saying that they'd had a tough year and that he'd recently suffered a bit of a mental break. He'd also been recently housed at the Sarpy County Jail and had just gotten out before the shooting. We'll have much more coming up at 6. Reporting live, Kelly Bartnick, KMTV Action 3 News.
And other family members have echoed sentiments like Amanda's. They say Elrod always had a rough life, but that he was trying to make a better one for himself. Action 3 News reporter Emily Zink is live in our news center with that. Emily?
Jen, this week I spoke to members of Danny Elrod's family, and they helped paint a better picture of who he was, including both the physical and mental issues he faced every day.
He's always had a rough life, and it kind of sucks that he went this way at such a young age, but I just wish that he would have had it together.
Taylor Elrod says she never really got to know her dad, but Taylor's mom, Melissa, knows Danny and his demons well.
He had a good personality when he wasn't drinking or on drugs.
Melissa Natras has 2 children by Danny and says his temper, drug and alcohol addiction, and diagnosed bipolar disorder controlled him.
He never was a stable person.
Not only did Danny have mental issues, he also had physical problems. According to his family, he broke his back almost a decade ago and took almost a year to walk again.
When I'm sitting there listening to them say he wouldn't comply to get down, here's something they don't understand. It was hard for my brother to get down on the ground.
Danny's half-brother, James Floyd, says his brother is no angel, but there was a reason he wasn't complying with police. James says last time he and Danny talked, he thought life was finally looking up for Danny.
Well, actually, he was telling me how good he was doing.
James says Danny had a job in Omaha fixing motorcycles and was loving his new life with his wife and son, but now that life is no more.
They could have done something else. He should be sitting in jail right now and not sitting on the morgue.
Danny's brother James tells me it has been incredibly hard to cope with his brother's death, especially since he hasn't gotten the answers he wants. Live in Master Control, Emily Zink, KMTV Action 3 News.
All right.